Hi, everyone. I'd like to introduce the framework around the teacher, the framework that we really want to both imbue into these teachings, and then also the right minded framework to also see and consume these teachings and view these teachings for yourselves. So, from a high level, there are two different ways to view the teacher. Relative way and an ultimate non-dual way. So to talk a little bit about the relative way, I'm Chris, and this is my wife too, and we are bringing these videos to you as the teachers of these various teachings that we're putting up on YouTube. With who we are and our backgrounds on a relative basis. I have a background in philosophy and spirituality. I have a BA in philosophy. I have been studying spirituality as a lifelong path, lifelong pursuit, starting in the monotheistic Christian tradition and converting to Roman Catholicism when I was in high school, and then continuing my studies into philosophy, focusing on both modern and postmodern philosophy, falling out of a spiritual tradition while still feeling spiritual, not really considering myself as spiritual. Later in life, finding out more about Eastern traditions, studying on my own the Zen and Taoist traditions as well as Hinduism, and then eventually finding my path, taking the refuge vow of with Tibetan Buddhist traditions, taking the Bodhisattva vow, and also gaining empowerments with a variety of masters in secret Mantrayana and Vajrayana traditions. So all of that is my own story. There's a lot to it. However, what we are doing and imbuing with these teachings is not just something that is for our own benefit. We're not looking for anything monetarily from this. It's not really about trying to just put teachings on YouTube for growing an audience or anything like that. It's because we've been, at least in my case, asked to, and actually she has because I've asked her to. But I've had a teacher ask me to share some of the secrets with a wider audience. So, because of my vows in the Buddhist tradition, when someone asks me to do something for the benefit of others, and that person is a person of realization, in this case, it was a teacher, I'm compelled to do that. It's something that is now part of my path, as well as it's something that I am imbuing with faith, devotion, as well as compassion when I speak to you in each of these videos. Now, that has a certain amount of spiritual power. But before I get into that, I'd also like to introduce my wife too, so she can also talk about her specific relative background.
Thanks. My name is Tu. And for my background, I grew up in a Vietnamese Mahayana Buddhist family. So I've always been following the Buddhist tradition. However, I would say that my real sort of spiritual growth, and religious growth and understanding, kind of began flourishing just a few years ago when I was introduced to Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism. And I think some of that has to do with the fact that, being born in the States, and having literature that was written in English, as a lot of the Tibetan texts are translated into English, really kind of helped me understand sort of just the background and um, wisdom that was looming under the sort of the surface of some of the practices that I was even doing just growing up that I wasn't quite aware of. Um, and yeah, Chris has asked me to join him on some teachings, and I think I, while I don't feel that I have much to share sometimes, I do feel that my path with religion and spiritual growth has brought about a new and greater understanding of life, and I think there are some benefits that I can hopefully share with everybody.
And so that takes us into what benefit can we bring in a way that goes even beyond these relative stories of two imperfect, maybe perfect to me, but imperfect human beings. What can we bring to these teachings, and what is beneficial for you to view and see in them? In addition to the heart aspirations that we both have to be of benefit to you in all of these teachings, that they can be applicable in your daily lives, what we are bringing is also an unbroken lineage connection. We have amazing teachers, including His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche, uh, Tulku Jigme Wangdruk, and many, many others. We have connections with the Dujim Tersar Nyingma lineage, as well as the lineage of His Holiness Jigme Punsok, as well as through His Eminence Garchen Rinpoche, the Trikun Kagyu lineage. We could not possibly, as two imperfect human beings, live up to any of those lineages. Even as I'm talking about them and mentioning them, you might be able to sense that I have a tremendous amount of respect and feel a tremendous amount of insignificance in comparison to the amount of extremely beneficial of blessings that those lineages have. That said, for whatever reason that things happen in the world through interdependence as well as aspirations, we do have these connections, and these connections have been something that has imbued a certain amount of warmth in our hearts. Before each of our videos, we do special prayers. Not every video do we share those prayers that we're doing, in part because it would make the video longer, and also because our videos are really for anybody, and some that might confuse some people, especially with videos that are directed towards a wider audience independent of religion. But in each of our videos beforehand, we are beseeching our lineages, we are combining our aspirations with their aspirations and asking for help. And because of the connections that we have, the transmissions that we've received, been so fortunate to receive, we have total confidence that whatever is coming out of our mouths is for a purpose. Sometimes we're not even sure what we're going to be saying during the videos. It might be that we have a certain plan and the videos kind of take a weird tangent or a weird trajectory. That is some of the power of beseeching and trusting our hearts, and not just our silly, insignificant human hearts, but also the Buddha nature, the original primordial nature of reality, of which we have this connection with all of these spiritual lineages, these masters that have realization that go far, far beyond any of ours. And actually, what I want to talk about very short, in a very brief way, is how that's actually the way that you too can also begin to ripen your own heart. Is if instead of viewing us as purely human beings, even though I will tell you we are 100% as the two of us, imperfect human beings. However, if you have an extra amount of faith that what's happening in these videos can touch you in a way that goes beyond just us and go through the underlying, overlaying, all permeating current of reality and really, really touch you, really affect you and transform you and ripen you into a liberated, transcended mind, then you can get a lot out of these videos. These videos will have a lot more power in your life. They will also be able to potentially begin to awaken you in a way that relates directly to your lives, in a way that are, again, individual, imperfect human sides can't even grasp. But you will be able to grasp it. And so will all of the spiritual energy of the world. We together will feel connected in a way that goes very, very deeply and very, very beyond anything that our eyes and ears in a relative way expect. So we are imbuing our teachings with that. We have had moments that have surprised us and warmed our hearts in ways that were entirely unexpected. In that way, this is one of the reasons that we're doing these videos, is because we feel a strong, strong pull to actually bring you these secrets. This strong pull comes from far beyond ourselves, far beyond, in a way that we don't have as individual egos access to that. But as people that are at rest and open, we all have this opportunity to come together and to feel this presence, this tremendous spiritual presence. And that is what we are trying to bring. And by trying to bring, it's already been brought. And it's really up to you and up to us, actually, as relative imperfect human beings, to recognize it. So that's a little bit about the two of us, as well as also about the Buddha nature. In our other videos, there might be tidbits that connect more about our individual lives or things like that. Those things will just happen organically. If you have any questions directly, please leave a comment. We're happy to have discussions, and we're really doing this entirely for you. We want to help every single sentient being across the earth and cosmos. And as a fellow traveler on this wild life, we find that you are the most important thing to us. So don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you so much, and sending you all the love from the very heart of the universe. And I hope that you enjoy our channel and our videos. Be well.